This lesson will help you with adding and subtracting integers. So remember, integers would be like numbers such as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., as well as the negatives. So I won't be including in this videos decimals or fractions. So we're just going to focus on the basic adding and subtracting rules of negative and positive integers. So I have a method to help us do this that might be a little bit different than how you're used to reading a problem. So instead of reading this as -4 minus 2, what I'd like for you to do is to circle what is directly in front of the number. So directly in front of 4 is this negative symbol. So it's going to go with the 4. So I'm going to read that as -4. And then in front of the 2 is this minus sign, but we're going to think of it like a negative. So when I read this problem, I'm going to read it as -4 and -2. Now if we look at this problem right here, this is going to be read -6. And then here's the one situation we have to look out for here. If you see a parenthesis in between two negatives, that is just separating the negatives from each other. So that way, if the parenthesis wasn't there and someone was writing messy, they might write it out like this, and it might be hard to see this is 4 minus -3. So it's just there to separate. It doesn't mean multiply or anything like that. So it's just there to separate these two. So what we have to do here is a little bit different here. If you look at this, we have $4. If we have $4, okay, to show opposite that we don't have $4, we need a negative symbol. So a negative symbol represents the word opposite. So if I go and put another negative right here, this is saying, what is the opposite of -4? So if this one here means opposite, this is saying the opposite of -4 is 4. So if I ask you what this equals, this is saying the opposite of -3 is +3. So when you see two negatives like that, it will actually make a positive. So with this problem, when you see two negatives like that, we're going to change this to a positive symbol. We're going to connect the two, and so we're going to see this as -6 and +3. Okay. So we have some rules that we're going to apply. So now we've kind of looked at how to read the problems to use this method of solving these problems. Then you're going to ask yourself, so these two numbers that I circled, this was a -4 and this was a -2. They have the same sign in front of them. They both are negatives. So when they have the same signs in front, you are going to add the 4 and the 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Then what you're going to do is you are going to look in front of the larger number, 4 or 2. Now notice how I said that. I didn't say which one's bigger, -4 or -2. I'm just looking at the number. In other words, the absolute value of -4 is 4, and the absolute value of -2 is 2. So you're technically looking for which number has a larger absolute value, distance from 0. So in other words, I'm thinking if these numbers were positive, which one's bigger? 4. So you look in front of it, and that tells you that the answer is not 6, but -6. If we look at this example, is 6 bigger or is 3 bigger? 6 is bigger. So if we look in front, this tells us that the answer here, actually, let's say is going to be negative. And to get the actual number that goes here, this is a negative, abbreviate there, and this is now, we connected these, this is now a positive. They are different. One's negative and one's positive. They have different signs. So just like the word different sounds like difference, we're going to find the difference between 6 and 3. We are going to subtract. And you're always going to subtract the bigger number, like if you looked at them as positives, the bigger number from the smaller number. Again, thinking of the numbers as positive. So 6 take away 3 is 3. So that would equal negative 3. Okay, let's take a look at a few more examples here. Let's get our rules here. So if we take a look here, we have positive 10. And we have, if you look in front here, I know there's a plus there, but what's right in front of it, and this parenthesis again is just separating it. This is what's right in front of it is this negative 7, is the negative symbol right here. So 10, this is positive, and this is negative. What's in front of it, and remember, a number is automatically positive if it has nothing in front. So they are different signs, so we are going to subtract. 10 take away 7 is 3. Then we're going to look in front of the larger number, which is 10. So the answer to this is positive 3. Okay, we're going to look at this as a negative 8, and this is a negative 5. What's in front of it is the same, so we're going to add. So 8 plus 5 more is 13. Then you're going to look in front of the bigger number. Not negative 8 or negative 5. You're going to look at it as 8 and 5. 8 is larger, so if we look in front, it's going to be a negative 13. Okay, so we have a negative 6. And then here, this says the opposite of negative 2. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. So before we circle, we're going to make this into a positive. So this is a positive 2. They are different. One is negative, one is now positive. So because they're different, we will subtract. So 6 take away 2 is 4. And then you have to ask yourself which one is bigger. We got to look in front of the bigger number. And 6 is bigger, so it is negative 4. Okay, this is a negative 12. And this is a negative 7. So we're going to ignore this pretty much because that is what's right next to it. The only time we have to do anything is if there's 2, because remember a negative symbol means opposites. So they are the same sign. What's in front of it is the same, so we add. So 12 plus 7 is 19. And then we look in front of the larger number, which is 12, so that means it's negative 19. Okay, take a look at the next one here. This is a negative 5, and this is a negative 5. They are, what's in front of it is the same, so we add. They both have negatives in front, so we're going to add. 5 plus 5 is 10. Then you're going to, after you add, or you could do it before, you're going to look in front of the larger number. Well, they're both 5s, so it doesn't matter which one you look at in front of, because what's in front of it is a negative symbol. Okay, we have a positive 5, and we have a negative 9. One is positive, one is negative. They're different, so we're going to subtract. So remember, when we subtract, we take the larger number and take away the smaller number. So we're doing 9 take away 5, which is 4. Then we're going to look in front of the larger number. So 9 is bigger than 5, so we look in front of it. That means there's more negatives. Okay, 0 minus 7. 0 is not negative or it's not positive. And then we have a negative 7 here. Well, you could decide, do you want 0 to be negative or positive? It doesn't matter. These are, you could either add or you could subtract them, and it's still 7. 7 plus 0 or 7 minus 0, whichever one you want, it's still going to get you 7. And you're still going to look in front of the larger number. 7 is bigger than nothing, 0. So if you look in front of it, you get negative 7. Okay, a couple more here. So we have a negative 6. And then I see those two negatives like that. Remember, this says the opposite of negative 4, which is positive 4. So you have a negative 6 and a positive 4. They're different, so we subtract. So 6 take away 4 is 2. And then we look in front of the bigger number, which is 6. So negative 2. And feel free to pause this video and try any of these next ones on your own, and then push play, see how you did. We have a negative 4 and a positive 4. They're different, so you subtract. So 4 take away 4 is 0. And there is no need to look in front of the bigger number because 0 is not negative or positive. So it's just 0. Okay, we have positive 7, and we have negative 12. They are different, so you're going to subtract. Remember, it's always the larger number, 12. Take away the smaller number. So we get 5. And then we have to look in front of the bigger number, which is 12. So we get negative 5. Okay, two more here. We have a negative 8. And we have a negative 5. They are the same. They're both negative numbers. We're looking at them as both being negative values. So since they're the same, we're going to add. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Then we're going to look in front of the larger number, which is 8. So the answer is negative 13. Okay, last one. We have a positive 4. And then we have the opposite of negative 8, which is positive 8. So they're both positives. This is positive 4, this is now positive 8. So they are the same sign, so we're going to add them. So 12, and then we look in front of the larger number, which is 8, and it's a plus or a positive symbol, so positive 12.